Hey everyone, it's Joe LaRosa here with CEO Mindset, and I am super excited to be able to have here as our guest on today's episode, Ricardo Panneflek.
Yes.
How are you doing, Ricardo?
Good. How are you,
I
Joe?
appreciate you coming out and being a guest here today.
Thank you
so
for
obviously,
inviting me.
I know you've been very involved in the community. We love actually one of your local bakeries right here in Celebration. My kids absolutely love it. So one of the things that I really wanted to be able to talk about here today is, on this show especially, we talk so much about the importance of mindset, really. And, like 80% of your success is always going to come from your mindset. Skills are always important. But, now coming up now as, a CEO yourself and building, two very successful, companies. How important is it for you to have your mindset in the right place? And from the very beginning of first becoming an entrepreneur and going into business, how has your mindset evolved over the years as well?
Well, when I came to this country, like many of the immigrants do, we come empty-handed and with big dreams.
Right.
You start from whatever you can find. I worked for food, and then I worked my way up. And for me, there was no going back.
Yeah.
For me, the first mindset was you make it or you make it. No choices. You don't give yourself room to wiggle or plan B.
Right.
So always a plan A. Then as you start maturing, then you realize that everything that you have done is not from your own source, that God plays an important role.
Absolutely.
If not the most important role in the life of a person. And when you start realizing that God has been there with you all along,
right,
then you start building a lot more confidence.
Sure.
Because now you know that it's not all on your effort. I have a joke because a lot of people say, how have you opened 14 bakeries in 3 years, And I keep saying, I sleep like a baby. Yeah. I get up crying every 2 hours.
Yeah. I've never heard that before. I'm going to use that one. I love that.
So, but when God is with you, then it's different because you know that there's a lot of work involved, but someone is giving you the push and opening the venues and the doors and making people say yes.
Yeah. No, I mean truly, and what an absolute amazing feeling is to have. When you can kind of step back and have that faith, right? Know that, obviously, you can put all your trust in God and things are going to fall into place. I know when I first started, I was sleeping like a baby for sure. Every night wondering, how am I going to keep myself, in the right mindset? So let me ask you another question. Obviously, I'm, used to this myself as well with how many folks we have that are part of our many companies. So you have now around about over 140.
In the bakery alone. On the other side, it's another 100. So it's like 250 total.
So about 250.
Yeah.
So what are some real, I would say, non-negotiables for you? So like, obviously, I've had to learn the hard way as well, is that, I always have that soft human touch. But, if we really want to have the right personnel that's in full alignment with, kind of what our mission and what our vision is, the things that we want to achieve, what are some non-negotiables that, so look, we want to have the best high performance team out there. So, how do you really focus on making sure you have the right people in the right place?
Two things. I've learned how to work with people that I don't like and people that I don't agree with. But it is impossible for me to work with people who are not honest and doesn't have the vocation to serve.
Right.
The other things I can teach. The other things I can put up with. But if you're not honest and you're not there for other people, then you're not part of the team. Yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely. It's important to make sure that everybody that we surround ourselves with is in alignment with all aspects. And that's definitely it was a struggling point for me in the very beginning, because you always wanted to find the best of somebody, but really, at some point you have to have
there are things that you cannot teach.
Exactly. So talking about kind of, even some of my challenges way back, what were some of maybe your challenges when you first started out? And, I'm a big believer in, sometimes we have to learn from our failures. And so, what failures maybe for you kind of stand out when you first launched, your business, and how have you learned from it?
My first bakery I opened when I was going to school in San Francisco on Market Street. I was 19 years old. And I went to look for this space. And the landlord said, lady, you're too young. And I said, well, we're supposed to start young, aren't we? Right. So I convinced her. She gave me the shot to open my first bakery on Market Street, which is a very prized piece of asset. For especially you coming from realty, you know what I'm talking about,
Sure.
right? So I opened up a year later. I'm very successful. I'm doing Subways before Subway existed. I was doing soft ice cream before TGI. The frozen yogurts, Twisted Treats existed, and I got an offer from these two guys who liked my concept, and they bought me. They offered me $36,000 for a business started from zero. I said, well, this is my chance to finish school and not have to work anymore. And 2 months later, I'm not getting paid. A year later, they go bankrupt. They take everything. They close. And I never got paid.
Wow.
So that was the first lesson.
Yeah.
I learned how to sell.
Sure. I can imagine.
So I chucked it. I said, that's my MBA cost of doing business.
Yeah.
And I thank God at that point that happened to me when I was starting.
Sure.
And it didn't happen to me now.
Right.
Now I get offers for my business, but I always remember how important it is to secure the payment.
Yeah. You know, my grandfather always taught me, he goes, it doesn't matter where you go to school and what degrees and certifications, what's going to be the most impactful education you're ever going to get is from the University of Life. And I definitely have some very similar experiences when I first started out as well. So let me ask you this. So you mentioned, obviously, you said 14 bakeries right now.
Yeah.
Obviously, I know you wrote a book that we'll talk about here in a moment as well, and obviously you have other businesses. How do you manage it all, right? How do you stay focused? And for a lot of folks, obviously, since we talk about mindset, how important it is to have your mindset in the right place. But sometimes that feeling of being overwhelmed and disorganized. And how do you stay focused?
There is something constant about me. I am always changing. So the fact that I'm always changing keeps everybody on their toes.
Yeah.
I'm not as predictable as they want me to be, and I am not as constant as they want me to be. Right. If I decide on something that doesn't work, and it doesn't work fast, it changes.
Yeah.
I don't wait. I don't wait for it to show me that it's a failure, or I immediately know. A week, 2 weeks later, this is not going to work. It's done.
Right.
And I keep focused on the results. I keep focused on getting the objective. And that's where I am, always thinking about the objective. Yeah. I don't think about my ego or this is my decision or your decision. I want everybody to pitch in. I know it's my responsibility, but I don't give it a time. Some people get upset. Oh, we have to wait. It's going to take 3 months for this campaign to work. No. Right. If it doesn't work now, it's not going to work in 3 months. All we're going to do is waste money and time.
Right.
Both important.
So just being so strong and committed, that's what really is.
Yeah, objective.
What plays a huge role in your ability just to stay laser focused and just to focus on the job on hand. Yeah. So let me ask you another question, right? So a lot of, I would say, entrepreneurs, when they're, starting out and they're starting to begin, that phase now in their business where they're seeing success, they're, getting a great return on their business and so on. But obviously some folks get scared of the big opportunities that are out there and they'll just be comfortable. But there's other folks that really won't just take the lowest hanging fruit. They want to climb to the top of the tree. So what were, in essence, if you look back, what were some of the key decisions that you made that truly allowed you to be able now to scale your business from, in essence, just being, one location to, 14 different bakeries now, multiple businesses, a book, again, that you've written? What were some of the decisions that you made prior to that allowed you to take that huge step?
Recognize the value on what other people have.
Yeah.
For example, back 30 years ago, I was starting my natural health business in Puerto Rico, and I had the chance to buy the biggest name and 27 locations of health food stores called Vita Natura. They were given to me on credit for $100,000.
Wow.
And I said no, because I thought I could do it for less.
Yeah.
20 years go by. I get the chance to buy Fortuna. I'm opening my own brand. But the Fortuna opportunity came up. And I said, I'm not going to make the same mistake.
Right.
I'm going to pay whatever they ask me for because I'm buying the name.
Right.
So I started from a higher platform.
Right.
So learning from your mistakes is key for future success. Because then it didn't matter. You just wasted that opportunity. Yeah. So I bought Fortuna and converted my initial project of bakeries, changed the name. Everybody was saying I was crazy. And I said, these people have been in business for 17 years. They have done a good name. They have a great product. I can build from this. Yeah. Starting from scratch, from zero, is going to be harder. So I invested in a great name, and that's what we did.
So speaking about, obviously, the brand itself, how important is that? I mean, obviously, from what I'm gathering from what you just said, I mean, that was a huge motivating factor why you acquired Fortuna, right? Acquired the name. What is it that you would recommend for business owners, to look at when it comes to branding? Obviously, why is it important, and what should they be looking for, and really, in essence, to be able to create a connection with their clientele?
Well, you can have any brand that you want, but the brand has to reflect what you want to project. The brand has to say something about what you're offering. Yeah. And my brand in the natural business is called Mundo Natural in Spanish. Right. Because I want to offer what the world has to offer in natural health. Yeah. When I had to decide for a name in English, I went for Organic Farms Vitamins because it best described what I wanted to sell. And when we came to Fortuna, my original name was Panecitos, which is small breads. Right. Fortuna was fortune, was blessing, was grand. Right. So I went for that because I thought it was a better name. My ego, went to the second step, and I decided that it was a better name.
Right. Excellent. So you mentioned your other business too. Talk a little bit about this book that you've also had the opportunity
this
to author.
This book is in Spanish. It's called Total Health in 90 Days. Okay. I think that health starts by nutrition. Yeah. You don't have cancer for lack of chemotherapy. You don't have high blood pressure for lack of any medication. It is because of what you eat and some of your genes. And when you eat wrong and you have those genes, they get together and they give you trouble.
Right.
So you cannot change your genes, but you can change what you eat, and you can change your habits. Right. And that's where you have to put up the fight. Yeah. And we get lazy, and we get bored, or we get complacent. And as in any business, if you do it with the health, it's going to go to nothing.
Oh, of course, yeah. I always say, listen, if you want to be wealthy, you have to be healthy, right? Again,
So I think health is the number one. It's what you need to do. It's what you have to do to enjoy. Right. If you are blessed and successful, and you're not healthy, then you also wasted your time.
Sure. So then I was also surprised to hear. So even at the bakery, you have some really cool options.
Oh, I made it my mission.
Well. I
made it my mission.
That,
I made it my mission to make sure that we change the optics of the bakeries, because people see the bakeries as a sin place. You're going there, you're gonna kill yourself, Right. And how bored would life be without a sweet?
Yeah. That's been my argument for years. Yeah.
But you cannot have it every day. Right. That's what I'm saying. Right. Or the amount. You don't have to eat a huge cake. So I made a mission that we have in our bakeries gluten-free products, healthy products. So we have something for everybody. Sure. You can still have a healthy bread like the pan de bono. Our bread is made with yuca. It's also known as tapioca, and it's filled with a combination of cheeses, and we make that a healthy option for you. Now, you can have the other one, but if you want to be healthier or eat healthier, we have an option for you. So I think that they're keeping the balance is what matters.
I'm eyeing it off here in the back of the room. I know you brought some for us to try out today, so I'm looking forward to diving in. I know my kids, again, like I said before, they've been huge fans of the bakery. They're always there. So let me ask, so obviously, going back into kind of the CEO topic here for a moment, I know for myself, especially, coaching, having the right mentor, in my life. Obviously, my father was a huge mentor to me. There were so many others. I've always been a big Tony Robbins, fan and so on. So talk to me a little bit about how important would you say, having a mentor or even coaching or educating yourself, right? As a CEO, how important is that?
I'm studying constantly. I'm constantly learning. I get advice. I get advice from people. I seek advice. But I think that finding the way to keep yourself balanced is also important.
Yeah.
Because in the end, if being fatalistic or realistic, we're all gonna die.
Yeah.
What is this going to? Why is this being done for?
Right.
What are you gonna do with what you have? How are you gonna? Are you gonna work so you can leave everything to your kids, or are you gonna leave a legacy?
Right.
So finding those answers, and I've had the blessing of always having great mentors. I've always had, in the marketing side, I had the best it could be. In the food side, I had a lot of people who helped me. Some with I still keep in contact with 40 years later. Mm-hmm. So I think having mentors is important. And also surround yourself with people who will tell you the truth and not necessarily what you want to hear.
Yeah.
That makes a big difference.
Sure. So let me ask you, since you threw out the word legacy, I'm going to ask you kind of a deep question here. Mm-hmm. So I'll put you on the spot. What's the difference between building a business and leaving a legacy?
A legacy is something that will go and exist beyond your lifespan.
Right.
A business you may be successful at a business. You make typewriters. We don't have typewriters anymore.
Right.
So you can build a business, be successful, and then not have it anymore.
Sure.
A legacy is what you do with the money that the typewriters gave you, mm-hmm. And how you help others, and how you share with the community, and how you become relevant as a person, and as an influence.
Okay, deep. I love that. So in your book, you mm-hmm. talk about 90 days. Mm-hmm. And I know before we started, obviously, we were talking about how we can kind of, after 90 days, you really now have created a habit, right? You have now the ability to have this momentum mm-hmm. now carry you through. Mm-hmm. As a CEO, as an entrepreneur, what are some of the daily habits that you still practice today, or some of the ones maybe even from earlier on that really helped elevate you to where you are today?
Pray, eat, and love.
Pray, eat, and love. Okay.
I think that prayer is a good start.
Yeah.
I write a list of the things I want to do the day before.
Right.
So I plan my day. I am ready for change, because during the day things happen.
Absolutely.
And you have to be willing and able to accommodate.
Flexibility.
And I try not to book too many things in one day, because I know I will be surprised.
Right.
So I try to do 1 or 2 major appointments in one day, no more than that.
Yeah.
And I give myself room to be ready for the space. And if nothing comes up, then I take it easy.
Yeah. No, I love whenever I try to even do a time management presentation to my realtors. Everyone always freaks out saying, well, it's got to be exactly within this time block, and it's got to be by the book. And no, you have to have that flexibility, right? Because you can get a phone call, that could change everything, or you have an appointment that got pushed up or is running late, and so on. So let's kind of end with this. So looking at, kind of coming up, over the next 5 years, what are some of the things that you are kind of excited about, things that you're setting maybe some goals for yourself and for your business? And then also to kind of go with that, for any of the rising business owners out there, young entrepreneurs that really want to take some of, the chances that you've been able to take and experience what you've been able to experience, what would you recommend, for them with even setting goals for the future?
Okay, I hope my wife is not listening. She would say retirement. You would want me to say retirement? That's not going to happen. I think that we have to believe in the country that we live in.
Yeah.
We have to understand that we live in the greatest economy in the world, that we have the blessing to be in the best country in the world.
Right.
That we have the most talented, intelligent people, resources. And we need to believe in that. We have to stop listening to the negative and to the voices that want to throw cold water at us. We need to keep our fire burning. We need to keep finding a reason and expand you're thinking beyond yourself.
Right.
One big mistake a lot of people make when they're starting their businesses is when they start seeing money, they buy a boat, they buy a beautiful car, and they spend the money in the wrong place.
Right.
Reinvesting the first 3-5 years of your business into the business is key.
Absolutely.
To make it solid, to make it strong, then have the business work for you.
Sure.
But you need to be willing to work for your company and give it all.
Right. Love that. That. Well, Ricardo, I appreciate your time here today, and I appreciate you, of course, being a guest, and I look forward to definitely following up. So, all right.
Thank you. And always put God in your life, because that's the number one. That's what will keep you going.
All right. Amen to
Thank
that.
you for inviting me.
All right. Appreciate it.
Take care,
Thank you.